The kinds of kids that we served were kids that were multiply handicapped. Some of them were just straight deaf. Some of the kids came out of our Ontario hospitals when they were closing them. And it was a real mixed bag. And I can remember as a beginning teacher, Bob Rumble, who was a minister to the deaf, spoke to the St. Catherine's Lions Club, and he said, you know, we've got these kids there. One of them they took out of the Ontario Hospital, which was known in Toronto as 999 Queen Street. One of our deaf-blind kids came out of the Ontario Hospital down near Windsor. Those kinds of kids were coming into our schools, and we didn't know what to do with them. We didn't know how to handle them. But Bob knew that one of the major problems was that they didn't have a mom, they didn't have a dad, and they didn't have a home. They were taken from place to place. So he was advocating for homes. He went to the St. Catherine's Lions and said, look, I've got a 100-acre farm just outside Milton at the School for the Deaf. I've got Henry and Ann Dewick, who have 3 deaf children of their own. They're committed Christian people, and they're willing to move to that farm, run the farm, take care of their own 3, and take in 5 more of these multiply handicapped kids. The Lions said, sure, we'll do that, but they didn't realize that $55,000 for a farm in those days was a lot of money. So we formed a provincial committee, and that's when I got involved in it. Fortunately, we had some good luck on our side. There were hydro lines running across the property. The hydro wanted to use them, and they had to pay us some money, so we paid for the farm with that. And then from there, we started moving on to other locations, Georgetown, Belleville, Elsa Craig, all over the place in southern Ontario, because that's where the population was.
And Gary, this was the start of the Homes for the Deaf.
This was the start of the Homes for the Deaf, thank you, yes. Our very first one was called the Farm Home for the Deaf, and it gradually changed the name. So these homes were, we had to get the money together, so we created this committee, and we asked the Lions and the Lioness from all over Ontario if they would give us money to pay for these homes, and they did. You wouldn't believe the number of bingos that the Lions and Lioness went to raise the money, because our homes didn't always cost $55,000. Right. We got into the millions and millions of dollars. So eventually these kids were starting to grow up in that, and they became adults. And so we couldn't call it the Farm Home for Children. We changed its name to Lions Homes for Deaf People, because by that time we were starting to build homes for people who were deaf and blind. So the names did change over it. For example, we couldn't build a school for the deaf in Northern Ontario because the population was so scattered, but they needed service. People from Moose Factory Island had to come down to Toronto to get their hearing aids, to get audiology, to get counseling, and all those kinds of things. So the Lions built a home not a home, but a building in Sudbury that served all of Northern Ontario across north of Parry Sound. And it was a $3 million building, a long way from $55,000. And it's still there. And all of those homes are still there. There are many, many of them. We also worked with the Canadian Hearing Society. Terry, you remember going to Sarnia with me, was we built a whole room to display all the technical equipment that people could use. And so people would go in and pick out their equipment, things like that. The Camp for the Deaf, we built a hospital at the camp, which is still going. So,
Gary, how many homes would there be in the London area right now?
Right in London, there are 2, and they're both for people who are deaf and blind. So these homes have served these very challenged people all these years. Most of our clients have vision and hearing losses to varying degrees and other disabilities. At our one home up on Fanshawe, the people in there are so challenged, it's unbelievable. It's not just vision and hearing, it's behavior, it's physical, it's all kinds of things. So they're very difficult kids or adults now. We have 60-year-olds there in our homes now, where before we used to have 6 and 7-year-olds. But if you add up all those years, that's what I want to point out, though, is that the cost, because we didn't have the vaccine, the cost of all those buildings, Robarts, that was a huge expense to build Robarts, and it's almost empty now. There are very, very, very few deaf kids at Robarts. The same thing at Whitney in Belleville. Very, very few, but they were built, and you and I paid for every child that went there. We paid for their food, their everything. So I remember when we first opened, I was doing some financial stuff one day, and I thought, I wonder what it costs us to take care of one of our kids for 1 year. And I estimated it was at $40,000 per student. And that was back in 1975, 76. So you think of the dollars that have been spent over the years, and it's not being spent there now. Now it's being spent to keep those people in those Lions homes, to maintain them, and we're still building them. The Lions homes just a month ago passed a motion to provide $100,000 towards a new home in the Hamilton area to serve deaf, blind people, but they're not kids anymore, they're adults. It just shows to me the importance of vaccines, the importance of providing vaccines in third world countries, and the work of our Lions. We are Lions in, there are 1.4 of us, 1.4 million of us in 48,000 clubs in 170 countries around the world, and we also have them in the Ukraine.
Thank you very much, Gary. So, folks, there is the reason that you are supporting Lions Homes for the Deaf. These homes, as Gary has said, are available to people who are deaf-blind and need support every day, and the homes provide those. And your donations, your support of this helps with that year after year. So thank you very much, Gary, and I'll now call on Joanne to take us through this week's draw. And I'll move to the other side.
Welcome, everybody, to week 23 of Lambeth Catch the Ace weekly lottery draw, brought to you by the Lambeth Rotary, Lambeth Lions, and Lambeth Legion Branch 501. This week's draw is worth $337, and the jackpot, should the ace of spades be drawn, is worth $8,376. The charities that will benefit from the proceeds of the lottery are Lions Homes for the Deaf, SARI, Therapeutical Riding, Operation Service Dogs, and Assisting Homeless Veterans. I'm Joanne from the Lambeth Legion, and with me tonight we have Gary Martins from the Lions Home for Deaf. Thank you, Gary. That was very informative. Gary, would you like to give that drum a good spin around? And we'll let you pull out the lucky ticket. You need a drum roll now.
Yeah.
We have envelope number 49. And the winner is Paul McEwen. Congratulations, Paul. Hopefully you'll be lucky. Matter of fact, Paul's downstairs right now. And we have the 7 of diamonds. Okay, everybody take their card that you you have for this week. This concludes this weekly lottery. Please dispose of your ticket. Make plans to buy another ticket for the draw next Tuesday, as the jackpot will continue to grow until someone finds the ace of spades. Thank you for your continued support, and while your odds to win the grand prize improves each week, every ticket purchase makes a difference in your community, helping those who need it most. Thanks goes to our advertisers, Tommy's Motors, Tom's Variety at Main and Campbell, the Village Pantry, Kimberly's Fashions, McLennan Flowers, McFarlane and Roberts Funeral Home, Melody Gilmore, Realtor, Stan Portlace, Little Shop of Flowers and Gifts, and Kid Sense. Make sure you go visit our advertisers. Thanks, have a great evening, and remember to get your ticket starting tonight at 9 o'clock for next week. See you next week. Thank you.